Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Nick Games. Today I'm gonna be showing you the disgusting this build. This build. I'm telling you right now, this build is disgusting. In any fight that has spread cleave or any type of like stacked up AoE, the amount of burst from this build is insane. I'm about to show you guys on a target dummy here in a second, but let's go over the build real quick. So we all understand what's going on, how everything's interacting, and why this build is so powerful in keys and spread slash stacked up AoE cleave. Alright, so I'm not going to go over this tree. These videos are all about damage and numbers. I don't care about survivability. If y'all want to go over that, I would probably check out another channel. But right now we're just going to go over the damage and the playstyle of this build and why I think it's going to be probably one of the best contenders in Mythic Plus, if probably not the best build for M Plus for Warlocks. So, in the single target build, we're going to also be going for the same thing as we did last time for Grimoire of Sacrifice. We're going to be taking Wrathful Minion to get more damage, and we're also going to be taking Demonic Inspiration for, as we all talked about, more damage, right? I take Summon Soulkeeper. It's kind of clunky to use. You can't cast this while moving, which is kind of weird. So for example, I can use it and you can cast it while moving, which is like really cool. So I guess if you need to move for a mechanic and you don't need to reapply dots, you can do this while moving, just to add a little bit more damage. But it is kind of clunky, and I feel like if it's like a small amount of AoE, I think I'd still take Inquisitor's Gaze just because I'm a little lazy. So let's go over this build, and then I'll show you guys a target dummy test of a fully stacked burst ramp, right? Okay, so as usual, Malefic Rapture, Seed of Corruption, just to get all your corruptions, because we are going to be running Absolute Corruption here to have infinite corruption uptime. So Seed to apply your corruptions. Sow the seeds just to get your corruptions, just a little bit more damage. There's not really a better place to put these 2 points, and you kind of have to put these points in order to get further down the tree, so I just threw it in here. Writhe in Agony, to get your Agony stacks going up. Xavian Teachings, Harvester of Souls, Nightfall. Even on AoE, this is really good for ST, so if, there's 4 targets and then it goes down to 2, at least you still have a little bit of uptime on like some decent single target damage. It's also good for execute. This procs a lot on AoE, by the way, like 4 or 5 targets. Like this is almost like an 80 to 90% uptime, so it feels really good. We'll be taking Harvester of Souls. This feels a little bit better on AoE. It's not the greatest, but it does its job. We'll be taking Drain Soul, Soul Tap, Creeping Death. So Creeping Death is probably one of the most powerful parts of this build just because of the way everything is set up. It makes your corruption tick a crap ton, does a lot of damage. Your agony is also ticking faster, so it's just building stacks quicker. There's more ticks in the time spent of the dot itself, and it just feels really good. I was running hot for this, but when I swapped to Creeping Death, the amount of burst damage I was getting during my ramps was way more. Haunt is okay if it's like smaller amounts of mobs, maybe 2 target. I don't know. So far there has not been like a 2 target fight or situation I can test. So right now I'm just not tanking Haunt. We take Withering Bolt for single target. Like I said, you have to throw in some points here just to get further down the tree. We're going to be taking Vile Taint this time, not Phantom Singularity. Vile Taint is too good. It applies a massive dot, plus it also applies agonies to all targets that are hit, up to 8. We'll be taking GOS, Grimoire of Sacrifice, as usual. Sacrilashes Dark Strike, just more corruption damage, and since we're running Absolute Corruption, more corruption damage is always a big plus. We'll be taking Dark Glare because we will be running into Grim Reach, which is the big damn. This is the big damn, if you know what I'm saying. Malevolent Visionary, Dark Glare's damage is increased per dot active and also lasts an additional 10 seconds. We'll be running Soul Rot, and the reason why we're running Soul Rot is because 1, it's an extra dot. 2, we're also running Inevitable Demise, which can make this a very nasty 1-minute AoE setup if you can time Soul Rot and your stacks of Inevitable Demise correctly, I think at a certain amount of targets, you can actually Inevitable Demise once in between your Soul Rot use, if there's enough targets. But if there's not, currently with the way Creeping Death is working with Soul Eater's Gluttony, this is ticking down pretty quick. And Soul Rot is technically almost a 30-second cooldown, which technically lines up with Inevitable Demise stacks up to 50 if there's about 4 to 5 targets. And then at the end, we'll be taking Dark Harvest to get the haste and crit per target hit by Soul Rot. This build feels great. And so let's get into the damage profile and how it does. Alright guys, here we are at the target dummies. I'm going to do a quick showcase of what this damage feels like, how it feels overall, and see the overall potential of how much damage this build can do. So we're going to start off with 2 soul taps. We're going to go with a Vile Taint into Seed of Corruption, into a UA, into Soul Rot, into Dark Glare, and then you're going to Rapture spam, basically. All the way up, you're going to keep Rapture spamming, okay? Then you're going to Drain Life at the end of it because you have Inevitable Demise. And then you're going to Rapture some more, okay? And then reapply the dots, reapply your agonies so they don't drop. The thing about Vile Taint is it doesn't seem to line up very well with your agonies dropping. So it does kind of suck. Now, we do have Inevitable Demise up, but you're not going to use it. You're always going to wait for your Soul Rot, right? So you're going to do this, and then you're going to Drain Life into the Soul Rot, right? Because we have Inevitable Demise. So you're always going to line up your 50 stacks of Inevitable Demise with your Soul Rot. Never use it until your Soul Rot is up and able to be used, and then you Drain Life after it is done. Because when you keep up UA, it is dropping the duration of Soul Rot very quickly, as you can see, right? And this is basically all you do. We go into a Vile Taint, we're going to go into a Soul Rot window, and then you Drain Life. And then you're going to Rapture after that to get as much damage as you can from your dots, and then you just repeat. This build has very good sustain, very good output. It's a little clunky to play around at first, but it feels really, really good once you get the 1-minute timers down. And here, I'll show y'all what it's like going into another burst window. So we're going to do this. Okay, I will be holding Vile Taint for my next ramp here. We'll also be holding Soul Rot as well. We're going to reapply our agonies to get them maxed out again. Reapply UA. I'm gonna do a little bit of Drained Soul. We're gonna Soul Rot. We're gonna Dark Glare. Okay. And we're gonna Rapture again. Okay. At the end of your Raptures is when you'll throw that Drain Life in to get value from Inevitable Demise. I actually did not wait for Vile Paint, but it's okay. As you can see, on 4 targets, I'm sustaining around 57 to 60k. If I would have actually held Dark Glare for the Vile Taint, it would have probably been around 60k, but this is the breakdown of the build. As you can see, Drain Life is a huge portion of this build's damage, which I think this build will be really, really strong. And I look forward to trying this out in M+, when M+ testing for beta comes out, and I will be uploading videos showing how this build works on a rotation basis through a pack-by-pack scenario. But as again, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Like and subscribe if this content is helpful to you, and I will see you guys again later. Take it easy.